Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Michelle Washington, and good morning again, District 47. Distinguished Toastmaster Lana McFarlane joined Toastmasters in 2003 in Alpharetta, Georgia. During her district leadership journey, McFarlane found that serving enhanced her skills in a personal and professional life. Lana took her Toastmasters journey a step further, serving as District Director of District 44 to continue providing encouragement and support to all members in clubs with their self-development and personal growth. Now serving as past region advisor, she is encouraged by the commitment and dedication of the 8 districts in Region 8 for their valued leadership serving their clubs and members. Toastmaster McFarlane continues to mentor new members and new clubs to empower other Toastmasters to be successful as future leaders by fostering the same opportunity that was extended to her on her leadership journey. On a personal note, professionally, Lana has worked at APNA for the past 26 years, mentoring and coaching new employees to the team and leading with development activities. One of her favorite quotes by John C. Maxwell: everything rises and falls on leadership. District 47, please help me welcome to the virtual lectern, past Region 8 advisor, distinguished Toastmaster, Lana McFarlane.
Good morning, District 47. How are you? I hope everyone is ready and engaged. Good that you got up so early this morning. Just confirming that you can all see my screen, that I'm sharing service and leadership.
Okay. Not yet.
Okay, now you can.
Yes, ma'am.
What is service and leadership? Why have we all started? My service and leadership journey started many, many years ago in 2003. I'd only been a Toastmaster for 3 months. And our club president, Mr. Roy Ganga, volunteered me to be Sergeant at Arms. And I said immediately, no. Then I went back and I looked at the requirements and I went back and said, oh, I can do this. And Roy politely said to me, I wasn't asking. But look how far and where my journey has taken me, all the way to serving as region advisor to support and help. And I remember my visit to District 47 at your deck meeting, where there were a number of excelled leaders. So what is service of this service and leadership? Service is providing value and facilitating the outcome, providing value to your members, and the outcome is for members to learn and grow, which also leads to the success of your club. So each of you as leaders, when you go for your individual training, think about the service that you are learning from the tools provided to become engaged leaders. Before we start, I'm going to ask the program, your PRM, Andre, to put up a poll, because there's 2 questions I want to ask before we get started. How many of you have served or are serving currently as a leader? And it's either yes or no. And also, during your leadership, did you take advantage of the High Performance Leadership Project? Either yes or no. So once you've included your answer, please hit submit so that we can just take a look and see what the score is. Go ahead. And then I'll ask Andre to just let us know what the percentage and how many you've done. So moving along in regards to why are we here? What are we doing? Why are we a leader? And a leader, just to be clear, is leading a team, preferably. some reason my screen is not moving to the next. What makes an effective leader? How do you become an effective leader? We weren't born as leaders. We need guidance. And one of them is to provide a clear direction. Now, I'm not good at directions when I need to go somewhere. So I rely on MapQuest or GPS or Google Map to give me clear direction where I need to go. You as club officers, when a new member comes into your club, do you give them clear direction of why they're there? Do your club members know who the club officers are of your club and why they're there and what their role is? Giving clear direction will help motivate your club, look for and realize, well, what are we there for? Each member's contribution works and earns the club a success in their goals. Fostering collaboration, what does that mean? Getting everybody engaged and involved and on the same page, but also to confirm that your officers, you as officers, are you in the right role? Is this something that you were just put in because they needed a body? Or did you volunteer for the role? And are you giving the tools? Make sure when you go for your individual trainings, participate, engage. If someone knows something that you're not sure of, ask, follow up, find out. Collaborate with those who are a little less forthcoming in being motivated. What's motivating them? So you as a leader with your team of officers, make sure that you foster collaboration. Look for ideas. Listen. Take heed of what is being presented in your club officer meetings. Do you all have something to say? Do you all participate? Are you ready? Do you have an agenda? Are you giving updates during that meeting to foster growth for your club? Motivate achievement. Do you do that? And if you do, how do you do that? Do you spotlight one member? Do you spotlight that the entire club is doing well? How do you motivate achievement? Right now, virtually, we're unable to give out ribbons or trophies. However, Toastmasters International has provided virtual ribbons. Are you taking advantage of that? Are you spotlighting the best speaker, the best table topics, the most creative evaluator? Are you putting out pictures? Are you putting that on your website to motivate achievement either individually or what your club is doing? Do you motivate the achievement on your club website to invite and encourage guests to come? Do you invite them to come? Do you have them participate in your first meeting and then give them a ribbon to motivate their achievement of even opening their mouth, of participating? That's part of being an effective leader. Only part of being an effective leader. So what I'm going to ask you to do also, and this is something that you'll share with others, just think of 3 words in chat of what you would describe your leadership style. I'm not going to ask Andre to read them out, but just put in chat 3 words that you would describe your leadership style to be. I had to learn that leadership wasn't doing it myself-ship, because I wanted to do everything myself. Are you visionary? Are you a micromanager as a leader? Be honest, just think about that so that others can see what type of leadership styles you have. That's in level 1, part of what, or level 2, part of what you have to do in regards to leadership, communication leadership style. As a team leader, again, participate and encourage others. Okay, I don't know why am I, sorry. Encourage participation. If someone is not participating, privately ask them why. What is their reason for not participating? Are they in the right role? Are they comfortable? Is it something that they don't have enough information on? So encourage participation, especially in the Zoom environment. It's hard sometimes. Now I can see Austin, I can see his expression, I can see Roy, but can I see the others? And if they're looking a little, are they multitasking? Are they engaged? Or are they answering text? Is Roy having bandwidth problems? But encourage participation. This is a really important one. Facilitate communication. Sending an email is not enough. An email can get lost. An email can get ignored. More than 2 emails, I recommend picking up the phone. Within this environment, in this meeting, we have the opportunity to use chat. We have those reactions. Facilitate communication, because communication interpretation can get lost in an email, can get lost in a text. Are you using a broadcast text to reach out to your members, to invite them to your meetings? How many of you as leaders have opted out to receive the communication from Toastmasters International? And if you have, why have you? You need to opt back in, because if I say, did you see that as the treasurer, Toastmasters International has opened the portal early so I can start going and bugging my members for their membership dues renewals? No, I didn't see that. Why didn't you see that? Have you opted out? Opt back in. Make sure that you are facilitating communication, and in your verbal communication, how is your tone? Is it engaging? Is it a little accusatory? Is it vague? So think about how you're facilitating your communication, because that will encourage participation. Problem solving. We're human beings. Problem solving, is it, how do we get new members? Why are members leaving? We understand the virtual world, especially in the corporate environment. There's a lot of companies that are not allowing their members to use their corporate laptops to engage in Toastmaster meetings. Are they working from home? Do they have the alternative to be able to log in on their home laptop, or like we saw several people logging in on their iPhone? How do you think collectively in regards to the problem, and how are you going to solve it? Problem solving is not blame solving. Who do we cast the blame on? Who do we point the finger at? As a team leader, it's for all of us to think collectively, what's the problem? What incurred for it to be a problem, and how do we solve it? Tolerating mistakes. We all make mistakes. I made a doozy in New York when I worked for a relations company where we put out company earnings. Every quarter, January, March, April, October, and December, the 4 quarters when we put out company's earnings, I sent out an earnings and I put the company's wrong ticker symbol, the 3 letters that usually indicate their company. And immediately I hit the send button. I panicked. I made a mistake and I ran into the VP and I told him what I did, expecting that he was going to scream blue murder. He was calm and he just calmly told me, go back and put a retraction that there was a communication error, because that company immediately started to receive emails and phone calls from the investor relations companies asking, were you acquired? Did somebody buy your company? It took only a few seconds. I made a mistake, but the good thing was the VPE gave me a solution of how to solve that mistake. So when you think about a mistake, the quickest way is, how do we turn that around? What do you learn from the mistake? Help teams grow. Delegate. If there's something that they're really good at, delegate. Suggest that they do something. Look to see who, as a leader, can replace you. Another company I worked at in New York always said, employ somebody who you can replace or replaces you. In our leadership roles in Toastmasters, have somebody shadow you in your officer role who can then take over your role. Or if they started and they're just getting their foot in the door, encourage them to think about, outside of the club president, doing it for a second term. Put that to them. Would you be comfortable doing that? Think about that. Because whatever leadership role that you grow into, Toastmasters is always looking to encourage someone to take your place. As an area governor at the time, area director, I had 3 club presidents that I reached out to during my term, and I asked them to consider thinking about taking my role as area governor, area director for another area. 2 of them did. 1 of them became an area governor under my leadership as division director. So always think about giving others opportunities, a chance to grow, because they may not see their worth and their value the same way you do. And that's what happened to me. Other people saw value in what I could do, whereas I doubted myself. So always think about helping your team members grow, people on their team to take over their role for the following year, or even maybe the year after. Persuade, not demand, people getting on your team. Now they laugh at me because I always take people out to eat. And they tell people, don't let Lana take you to La Madeleine, because you will walk out of there volunteering and said yes to something that you hadn't prepared for. You see, they tell you, food is where the heart is, but I do. So anytime I say, do you want to go to La Madeleine? Like, uh-oh, what is she going to ask me to do? But no, persuade. And persuading is including a reason why you think someone would suit well to be on a leader team. Maybe not yours, maybe on another team. As the club president, the 6 others of you on your team, you're all together. But the VP of Education, that's a role that may be a little difficult. Or PPR, can someone use help with social media? Now, if I took on the VPPR, I'd need help from the whole entire club. I haven't got a clue about social media. So that's not a role that I would take on and do myself, or I'd reach out to Andre. So again, persuade versus demand. What's the benefits of being on a team? It says prove the quality of work life. Now, work life doesn't necessarily mean your corporate life. Work life is what you do in your Toastmasters. How many of you really feel Toastmasters is more your job than your real job? Hands up. I know they told me at my job, I work for Aetna, but my desk is full of Toastmasters. You couldn't find anything for Aetna on my desk. People would say, do you get paid by Toastmasters? Yes, I do, with the value of what I learn. So improving the quality of work life, everything that you do as a leader in your club is part of your work life that you take to your professional work life. My boss constantly with the mentor program that I've learned in Toastmasters. That's why she assigns me as the mentor for the new hires in my company. Also, by doing interviews. How many of you in the district leadership remember your interview that you had to go through? Yep, there you are. That for me was more excruciating. 15 people staring at you asking questions in your district leadership role. You don't get 15 people at your work life asking you in an interview. So nothing else, if anything, to improve your work life of where you will learn and grow. Increasing productivity, that's another benefit. You shouldn't try to do anything by yourself. And that's why I asked how many of you have been a leader of a team and look to doing your high performance leadership. Now, the high performance leadership program is not one person saying, I want to mentor somebody. Toastmasters has a mentor program. That is not it. Increasing productivity, especially in the TLI that Shakira was put on this morning, she didn't do it all by herself. Yes, all the emails I got were from her, but other people helped her. In the conference, how many? Up to about 200 people usually volunteer to make it a success. And this is what increases productivity, that you're not trying to do everything by yourself. Hence another reason, the benefit of being on a team, looking at the productivity, what's going well, what's not, what can we pass on the following year. Reducing cost. My boss always used to say, time is money. So reducing cost is not necessarily the amount that you're going to pay. The cost is how much time did we spend trying to do something that wasn't going to work, but we figured, let's do it anyway, or let's keep doing it until somebody said, you know, this isn't really working. Let's think of something else. Whereas if you heeded previously, that's a reduction of cost of time. So not just necessarily monetary cost, time cost, people cost. So think about things in regards to that when we're looking at reduces cost. Enhance the product or service quality, enhancing the product of the Toastmaster program. Pathways, we know 2 years ago in Region 8, Region 8 was the last region in the world that was fully engaged in the Pathways program. The district that was first, I believe it was District 27 out in California, and also Malaysia, Region 14 was one of the first. And with the feedback of the product, enhanced the service and the quality with the tweaks that they were able to do. How many of you struggled getting into Basecamp? I know I did. I know I do. Did you know that you can put your evaluations into Basecamp and save them? I knew it. I did it once, but I forgot and I had to do it again. How many of you VPEs are giving workshops in your club to help your current members and your new members follow the Pathways program, to enhance the service and the quality that you want your members to get out of the program? How many of your members are struggling just to get through level 1? So think about, as a benefit, talk about it in your team, in your officer meetings, and even if you think about or talk about it and ask questions in your individual training. And when you go back, think about that, of how you enhance the product. And at the moment, not just the Toastmaster program, but Pathways as the product, or the service and quality. Are you providing learning, growing to help your members get through the levels? Are you reading the Toastmaster magazine, which I just did, of the acronyms? We're in new acronyms now. I have to look up what the DL is and the SRR and the 2 and the 3. I don't know what they all are off the top of my head. Even though I'm doing dynamic leadership and strategic relationship, I keep forgetting that that's an SR and a DL 1, 2, and 3. Don't assume people know what you're talking about. Reiterate in your meetings. Improve organization and company quality. How many members in your club know who you are as the club officers? Do you take it for granted that they know who you are as club officers? When I'm the Toastmaster of the day, I introduce our officers and I introduce them and tell them what their role is. Our VP of Education is the person who's responsible for making sure that we're here filling the roles. VP of Membership, did you get an email, a text invite from our VP of Membership asking you to come to the meeting? And then did you politely opt out, really? Your VP of Public Relations, he's trying to, or she is trying to get the word out about your club. Your treasurer, don't run in the opposite direction when they're asking for your membership dues, because don't forget, if you don't pay, then you can't get into pathways. You get locked out. Your secretary, very important role, keeping the minutes of what happens in your meetings, if you do them weekly, or in your executive meetings. Are there to-dos? Did you follow up on them? And your sergeant at arms, as I told you, that was my first role when I started 18 years ago, sergeant at arms. And the reason that was an important role, it sets the tone. We used to meet in a training room. I had to make sure before our members came in, the meeting room looked professional, presentable. Were the chairs straight, or did it look as though a war zone had just happened the meeting before? Take pride in what you do. In your Zoom meetings, Sergeant at Arms, are you getting on the Zoom meeting early to make sure that people are able to get in, that their communication is working? Toastmaster of the day, can people see, are you explaining how to pin the timer? I don't know where I am at the moment, who my timer is. So if somebody can tell me where I am, oh, okay. I'm at 8:48, so I've got a couple of minutes. But are you explaining that to your members? Improving the company. The company is your club. The organization is Toastmasters International. And looking for ways to improve. Yes, we understand that membership retention is low, but are you trying to engage, improve, and enhance the members that are currently there? They're your employees. What are you doing to recognize them? Are you having a special meeting to engage and encourage them to come back? How diverse is your club? We have a new member that's from Japan. So our club members are always trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Engage her with Japanese words. She had to correct somebody yesterday, explaining when they say pichikuchu, that's not how it's pronounced. They said it very British-like. And she explained that it's pronounced pichikuchu, pichikuchu, which means chat, just chatter, chatter. There, we learned something new, but we took the time to at least try. So in conclusion, a person who is worthy of being a leader wants power not for himself, but in order to be of service. And as I said, working with your teams as a leader provides value for your members. And thank you, Shakira, for this amazing TLI training that you put together. And think about the team experience of everyone who has helped her today, who introduced us, the Zoom masters, the tech masters, because it's taking a lot of people, even from a Zoom environment, for us, for me, to have this experience to engage and share with you. And even though I've been in Toastmasters for almost 18 years, I freaked out this morning, making sure that I signed in early, that my laptop was working on time, because I care. I want to put my best foot forward to give value to you. And also thanking Shakira and the team members, Andre, for making this TLI so worthwhile coming to. I am honored that I was invited to be here. With one couple of minutes left, I just want to ask, does anybody, and I'm going to just ask for one question, Andre, if there's one question that somebody has that they want answered from this presentation that I gave this morning, and I can just give an answer. If not, is there anybody? And that's okay if you don't. But think about, why are you going to, think about your journey today as a club officer. If you haven't considered or decided to go to the next level of serving as an area director in your next step of journey, think about it. Because every step you do, you may end up as the next international director. When Roy started 20 years ago, we have our 20th anniversary. Roy never walked into Healthy Voice thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to be the next international director. He barely thought he was going to be the club president. But look where our journeys can take us when we are persuaded, encouraged to grow and develop. So with that, I'm going to turn the meeting back to our host, and I thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Toastmaster McFarlane. That was awesome. Talk about great information